Today's episode is brought to you by one more week of other games, because it's really what we do. No, just give us Overwatch back, please.
Drop the beat.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Highnoon Podcast, the competitive Overwatch podcast. I'm your host, as always, the Blevins, and with me, also, as always, is Deathblow. What's up, buddy?
Not too much. How's it going?
It's going. It's going all right. We got a little bit of time to wait before Overwatch comes back, but
I gotta sit back. You are zoomed in on my face.
But it's gonna be soon. It's gonna be sooner rather than later, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're about a week now, maybe a week and a day.
A week from tomorrow for us, a week from yesterday for you ambitious listeners. Listen the day that the episode comes out. Which reminds me, this is a bonus episode.
Yeah.
You didn't know this was going to happen.
0.
Oh man, yes, it'll be season 2, episode 0. Or will it be like season 1.5? Or will it be? We're just gonna make it as confusing as possible for us, for you, for everyone. Really, it's just gonna be the worst, best thing ever.
Yeah, I don't know about you, man, but I've just been kind of sitting around staring at the wall, watching paint dry, etc., grass grow, things like that. I don't have anything to do.
It's pretty bad. But before we get into what we actually did, let's start with a little bit of housekeeping. Again, mentioned this is the bonus episode. I'm now contractually obligated to do that every time I say that word. The word's bonus. Okay. Let's start off with our giveaway. Did you remember that we have a giveaway going on right now? We do. Check out our Twitter. It might be the pinned post. By the time you hear this, it will be, for sure.
Although we've said that before and not followed up on it. So
I know at least at one point in time I conscientiously made the decision to keep the most recent episode there, but I would rather it be the giveaway post now. So I'm going to write it down or something, maybe. I don't know. Giveaway. But we do have one. Check that out on our Twitter. Super easy to enter. Just hit a button and then hit some more buttons, and it will basically do it for you. We're giving away Funko Overwatch pop doll vinyl figure thing. Deathblow, have you found out what those things are? Do you know what they are yet?
No. I mean, I know they exist, and they're figurines of some kind.
And people like them.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. So we're giving away, if you win, whichever one you want. That's the Overwatch of the Overwatch variant. I'll get it for you, and we'll get that out to you. Second, we need some feedback. We did a whole season 1 of Highnoon Podcast, basically just off the cuff, almost every single time, with almost no preparation, planning, or anything. And over the last couple of weeks, we've been getting a nice little influx of some new people. So hello, all new people. But because of that, we need you to tell us what you want to see, what you don't want to see, what you love, what you hate about the show. We would love to know. Please email us at highnoonpodcast@gmail.com or tweet at us at highnoonpodcast on Twitter, or tweet either of us on Twitter. Our handles are right down here. Actually, that's not my Twitter handle, but you know who I am. Or if you don't, just tweet at the podcast, or leave a comment or something somewhere for us, for what you like, what you don't like, anything about the show at all. Even if it's just, hey, you guys suck, stop the podcast. I want to hear it. Because
send those to at the Blevins.
Yeah, at the _ Blevins on Twitter. Just say, hey, Blevins, you suck. We want literally anyone else as the other host.
And any ideas too, guys? Anything for segments? We've been racking our brain. We've had some popular segments from a previous podcast that people have requested to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it for this one.
People love Stump the Blevins.
Yeah, they loved Stump the Blevins.
And I do too.
And there's just not really a great way to do that right now with Overwatch or something like that. And we love to do goofy little fun things every single week. Any ideas you have at all, if it can play into the Blevins' talent for voices as one of the heroes. He doesn't mind. I'll speak for him. He doesn't mind practicing it or something like that to get better at it. So let us know anything you can think of, or scrap it and do the Game of Thrones podcast you guys have always wanted to do.
Yeah, the Game of let's just do what everyone wants. The Game of Thrones - Clash Royale podcast that we've been talking about for so long now.
Yeah, it would be pretty interesting. That's for sure. I don't know why you'd combine the two, but
you know nothing, Hog Rider.
We're also covering Diablo because that was a Deckard Cain voice. I'm fairly certain.
No, it wasn't real. It was like an Egret Cain.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't pick up on that. That's so weird.
You know nothing, X-Bow. That makes more sense than Hawkeye. But yeah, so please, any feedback you have, tell us what you liked about the first season, even if it's nothing. Stuff that we can focus on more, stuff that we can shy away from. I know I personally like the guests, so we're going to try to get... We've both been growing our network in terms of people we know in the Overwatch community. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get some more guests on the show, because I think the Adam Hoke and the Hexagram show were two of the best shows we've had, mostly because it was less of me talking, so therefore it was better. But yes, definitely great to have both of those. And we're also, although we haven't really discussed it too much actively, well, let's start off by saying a thank you to both of our partners from the first season, Creation Esports and Matcherino. They helped us out a lot with a lot of different things, promotion, some sponsors, and some other stuff to help us out for season one. And with that being said, we're also always looking for partnerships or sponsorships or anything, any sort of work together with other people or organizations in the Overwatch community to help the community grow and help us grow and help you grow. So if you have any sort of inquisitions or anything like that, or if you want to just work with us, or if you want to just say hi, tweet at us, email us, all that stuff, we're always looking. So
can you even tell us about your upcoming event that's coming up? Whether you're organizing it or your team's playing in it, let us know. Help us spread the word about it so that way it can be a more successful event after your team wins it, or my team wins it, because you told me about it, so I entered it and beat you.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, we focus on the big tournaments that we see, usually Gosu Gamers or other big marketed events. If you have a smaller event that maybe you didn't get a ton of marketing, or maybe you're not on Gosu Gamers website or what have you, let us know. We'd love to cover the event at least after the fact, if nothing else, and talk about it and plug it beforehand. More Overwatch is better in our eyes, and we're looking to get more Overwatch to more people. So.
Yeah, and in that vein, I did come across a tournament. I think I will actually be participating in it, called the Overwatch Summer Series, hosted by cybergamer.com. You can go ahead and check that out on their website. There seems to be a good amount, and I think this tournament is on release day. May 24th at 6 p.m. CST. So that is the day.
Is the game even going to be out?
It might not be in the most stable form ever, but
you're going to have to run to GameStop just so you can get to the tournament on time.
Right, like if we do the tournament, we'll be the least progressed people in the progression system pretty instantly. But one thing I definitely learned from the closed beta is that the best form of practice is in the custom games.
Absolutely.
In scrims and things like that. So it's definitely going to be something my team is focusing on as we're looking to add some new members. I do believe we have somebody you might be familiar with if you followed the Team Fortress 2 scene joining us. So Ninja Nick, welcome to the team that has no name, as we're finalizing that soon in order to enter this tournament. So Keep an eye out for us. It will be streamed on Twitch, the House Party 5v5 Twitch stream. I don't know what that is, but that's what the link is to. So you can hopefully check that out. And as the game releases, guys, there's going to be a ton of these small little events. Great place if you're a new team. You want to get this experience ASAP as early and as often as you can. Mm-hmm. Got to learn to lose before you can learn to win. So watch these events and participate in them wherever you can to help grow the scene.
Yeah, and especially there's a huge hurdle, and a lot of people talk about this, not just in Overwatch and other games as well, Hearthstone, MTG. It's like, yeah, I kind of want to play, I want to be better, but I don't really know how to do the whole tournament thing, and it's kind of daunting. And just go on, just go in and do it. Just do the first one, especially one of these smaller ones where it's, an open free entry. And even if you're not playing for much, maybe if you're only playing for a couple of bucks, or maybe it's, maybe not even money, maybe it's swag or just glory. I don't know. Just join the tournament. Get used to it. Get a team going. Get something to practice for. That's how you get started, and that's really, how you grow as a team and as a player.
Some of you might remember we did one of the Gosu Gamers weeklies on one of my older rosters, and we got crushed, and it was still probably the best day of Overwatch I've had because and it was one match, but it was just it was the most valuable experience I have pulling from beta, and it was just losing quick 2-0 to Team Vigil, who people may have not even heard of before because they just were together longer as a team and had started before we did, so they were that much farther ahead.
Yeah, so definitely, to wrap it all up, A, play in tournaments, B, play more Overwatch, C, let us know how good and or bad you think we are and have been so that we can get better/worse for Season 2, because that's really why we're here, is all that stuff. So let's move on to what we normally do and talk about what we did last week, or I guess in the last few weeks, because we weren't actually here last week, at least not for a proper episode. Deathblow, let's start with you.
Well, we did have the open beta, so I spent a good solid week playing a good amount of Overwatch. It was phenomenal that they extended it by a day. Just been, kind of doing the same as before, looking for work, playing a little Diablo. Just hanging out, waiting for this game to come back. I gotta say, as far as Rocket League goes, I'm pretty good again.
Did you play that big tournament?
I haven't played in any tournaments. The thing about Rocket League is there's always somebody that's better than you. And I was a gold tier player. I wasn't a platinum tier player. So to play in the huge tournament felt kind of silly to me.
Gotcha.
It would have been nice to do, but it would have been a pretty big time commitment for a game that especially at the time and for the build up to it, wasn't taking very seriously. But, I've been playing with Gapinski and another guy from down in Erie. Shout outs to our friends in GameCore. Feel free to check them out if you're at all in the Northeast. But yeah, so I've just been kind of hanging out, playing with them a little bit, and we're finally back to a level where we feel like we should be playing ranked again. So
gotcha.
That's nice to do. So
play any b-ball yet?
I'm not a big fan of the hoops. It's really cool, but it's not
competitive.
Yeah, it's not the right thing for competitive. It's only 2v2, and we have a pretty set 3v3 team.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is me and you got to play hoops.
Honestly, I'm just not really looking to play it anymore. I had a lot of fun with it when I did it, and I would do it again, but it's just nothing I'm aiming to do. I don't want to.
But what if the stipulation is I'll just trash talk the other team the whole time?
You're making it less appealing to me. But for what it's just, I don't know, it's just a little different. It's like basically the pass that you'd normally do for a regular game is the shot, because you want it to like come up the corner and then it'll just drop right in. And the field's just way too short. It's almost like they're like rim to rim, it feels like, and it's just a little awkward. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. I love that they can. It has such a neat aesthetic to it, too, because when your car lands, you hear, like, the tires on the gym floor squeak.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, like, it's really cool, and I don't want to say anything bad about it, but I don't think they made it for a competitive thing. They made it for, like, a fun change of pace every now and then, and there's some really cool plays that do come out of it, but Yeah, I don't know. I'm still just enamored with the pure regular game.
Yeah.
On the just flat field where everything is balanced and normal. And
I really do want to start playing it because it's the type of game that it's so simple at its purest form, which I think is the hallmark for any sort of great game. That's why I like Clash Royale so much. It's super simple. Hearthstone, super simple, but the intricacies and the complexity of it and the skill involved with it, the skill ceiling is so high, but the skill floor needed to play the basic game is so low.
Right.
That I think is the hallmark of any great game. And one of the reasons why I think it's kind of surprising to me that MOBAs are so popular, because especially like League of Legends and Dota, because the skill floor to be able to play is so very, very high. You basically need a doctorate in Dota like theology in order to be able to pick the right character and play the game at any sort of competency. You need to have a master's degree in item picking and buying strategy just to be able to play the game, even at like the lowest of levels.
Yeah, it didn't used to be that way, right? Because nobody.
No,
it was
I think
like
it always was.
I mean, it was and it wasn't. But I mean, for every game, there's matchmaking and there's skill levels and there's tiers that it kind of works with. But it at least used to be you needed to know so many fewer heroes to get.
Not
what
for
I mean?
Dota.
No, for Dota, no. The original Dota, yeah. I'm speaking more, specifically League of Legends.
I mean, it was
the hero roster.
Still a lot. It wasn't a small number of heroes. It was just smaller than it is now.
It was like an associate's to a bachelor's degree, whereas now you're right. It's a master. It's a full master's required.
And it's not even. It's not even the knowing the characters as much. I'm talking about like a level of play below that. Like you need to not only know your character, you need to know the item build, and you need to know that, like, you need to buy boots. If you don't buy boots, you're just going to lose. And you need to last hit creeps, and you need to build your rune page correctly. And you need to do this and this and this and this and this. Yeah. And that's just to play the game. That's before you even start the game.
Right.
Not even the technical skill involved with last hitting and knowing how to time your abilities and all that stuff. It's daunting. And that's one of the reasons why I love Heroes so much, and why I've clung to Heroes for my MOBA, because I do like MOBA. I do like the gameplay of MOBAs. I do like the team aspect. I love playing MOBAs with my friends. And if my friends were completely averse to playing Heroes of the Storm and instead wanted to play League of Legends, I mean, I'd probably just find new friends, but I would at least consider playing. I'm at the point where I have enough friends I can just cycle through the ones that aren't perfect. But if I were in a different spot, I might consider playing League of Legends, just to play with my friends. That's just how it is. But to get kind of back a little bit on topic, the things that I did last week.
Oh my God, we're still doing that.
We're still doing that. I'm not even going to talk about what I actually did. Obviously, I played Overwatch, played a lot of Overwatch. Not as much as I wanted to play, but still a good amount. I found out today, actually right before we started recording the show, that I was in a YouTube video, an Overwatch collab YouTube video. That video is called Pretty Good Hanzo, Overwatch Best Moments and Funny Plays number 12. Featuring
Pokelols.
Tavik.
Mendo Kusai. And the Blevins.
And who's the other guy? Your ringer guy, Dyrus or something?
Oh yeah, Dyrus was in it. There was a couple of those. Psycho Waffle, I recognize.
Yeah, there was a lot of really great players, and then there was me. So check that out. It's from Gaming Curious, their YouTube page, and probably youtube.com/Gaming Curious. I don't know. Look up Gaming Curious and look up Pretty Good Hanzo, Overwatch Best Moments and Funny Plays number 12. You'll see me there. Not in the most positive light necessarily for my gameplay, but I did, in my defense, the video that they took it from, I made into a specific clip and posted that video, so I made it to be seen. It wasn't just a random obscure part of my stream.
And it's not even like you did anything wrong. It's just you discovered something.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Climbing up something all good Lucio's should be doing, and that's trying to climb into places nobody would look for you.
Exactly. And for what it's worth, I succeeded.
You might have been the most successful at your goal.
Yeah.
In the whole video.
Except I couldn't. Well, you'll see. Check out that video. You can also check out my original video. I don't know where to find it, so it's
just
somewhere.
Watch that one.
Just watch that one. It's so much
better. Like they even troll them a little bit.
It makes sense because I'm like I've been getting a bunch of random followers like at sporadic times because I have the giveaways going. Makes sense, but then I'm getting followers that are just random people out of nowhere. Like I hadn't streamed. There wasn't like. I didn't like tweet anything or anything. Just like people coming out of nowhere. Now it makes sense. Like just getting like a random couple of followers from these videos. So thank you, Gaming Curious, for featuring me. I'm going to hopefully be making more YouTube videos so that I can get on these things, I guess. I don't know.
And you can expect the exact same level of gameplay.
Oh, it's not going to get better. That's
stay
for
tuned.
Sure. Yeah, they're not going to feature my good gameplay. It's not going to be better than anyone else's. But my bad gameplay, though. Believe me. But we've already wasted so much time talking about basically nothing.
There's not a whole lot to talk about.
No, there isn't.
Quick results and no changes to the game.
For those of you who are expecting a regular episode, you're wrong, because this is the bonus episode. So we can really do whatever we want. Yeah, I don't even know what season we're in anymore. This may or may not even be happening. I don't know. We can do whatever we want. But we will talk about kind of the bookend to the beta.
Yes.
We had a number of tournaments happen near the end. I think some of the tournament series were kind of just trying to throw themselves in at the end of the beta to try to get people to know that they happened and that they exist for the release, which, is something. I don't necessarily fault people for trying to get into that wave before you get lost in the crowd of crying and complaining.
So many whiners
shouting.
From that open beta.
Oh my god, we'll talk about that, I guess. We'll talk about that after the tournaments because it's a whole segment in and of itself. But we'll start off how we always do with the tournament talk with the King of the Watch. This is the final King of the Watch for the beta. The returning champions, our kings, reunited, faced off against the newly formed Rogue. I don't know if they're Rogue Esports or Rogue, whatever. They're Rogue, Tavik's team, the player formerly known as Pluppy.
And the team formerly known as Maidong.
The team formerly known as Maidong, Sans Mendo. And we all know how much I love seeing Mendo on Maidong. But I've overdone this joke enough to the point where I'm not even going to keep doing it.
Now that they're not a team anymore, it's just pandering.
Yeah, exactly. It's just pandering to no one. But we saw, and this was kind of interesting because I thought I was watching this and I'm like, oh, this is actually going to be pretty good. Reunited, one of the most established, consistent teams in the beta, closed or otherwise, facing off against the former, for lack of a better word, I guess, Ravager Affinity deck of yore, known as Maidong, also known as IDDQD at one point, although those players move around so much. Basically, you see Tavik on a team, and
just to clarify, Maidong was never IDDQD.
No, it wasn't.
They carry the player IDDQD because that's not confusing.
No,
but yeah. Anyways, IDDQD doesn't exist anymore. So from now on, whenever we reference it, it will be the player.
Yeah, but IDDQD is on Rogue, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's confusing, but yeah.
Basically, the team that definitely has Tavik on it, and and I also know definitely does not have Mendo on it. That's another thing I do know, and may or may not have IDDQD on it. I figured, this is going to be a good match. This is a great match to end the King of the Watch for the beta. To end the beta series in the King of the Watch. Sorry, the King of the Watch series is not over, to my knowledge, at least. I don't think it is. I feel like Creation would have told us. No, it's continuing on. But this is the final one for the beta. I figured this is probably, with the exception of the ultimate match of old IDDQD, the 35-0 or whatever team, versus Cloud9. This is probably the one match I wanted to see the most.
I would kind of build this one as the best team versus the best players.
Yeah.
it's a newly formed team, but we had a whole episode about why the hell is Pluppy so good, and it's just because he has the best individual play skill in the game. So definitely had the makings of a barn burner, if you will.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be great, and it was not.
No.
Reunited just completely dumpstered Rogue 4-0.
Yeah.
Best of 7 for this one. And it's also worth noting, and we'll kind of talk about this again later, this was the Blizzard competitive format, I think.
I believe they still did continue with those rules. Yeah, I didn't see this event myself because I saw the score sheet after the event when I missed it. And lopsided Overwatch was not necessarily the greatest. But now that I'm remembering it's in the old Blizzard competitive rules, it might be that's a little better to watch when it's lopsided, because a lopsided score just might mean 4 overtime losses. It just might mean one team's better at
could be deceptively lopsided.
Right. So I might have to check that out, but at least on the score sheet, it looks bad.
Yeah, and I think, we talked about this many weeks ago about our team's going to start favoring the Tavik and Mendos of the world because they're just so good technically. They have to overfavor and change team comps and whatnot for them. I think that whole concern is kind of dulled a bit. I think, I don't know how many people would argue that Tavik is not, if not the best player still, top 5 easily in the game. But I also don't think that, like it was multiple weeks ago, that the next 4 or whatever are like a league and a half behind him. I think that he is one of many very good players now. And I think that we've gotten to the point where I wouldn't say for a second that Overwatch competitive meta is figured out or that maps are figured out, but I do think that teams that have worked together have a very clear and concise strategy on different maps, and they are very good at executing those strategies. And I think that this is a prime example of you can have raw player skill, but the composition and the working together as a team is, if not easily demonstrated here to be better than just raw player skill, it's at least very good.
Raw player skills is great, and it can lead you to get 2 picks before you get taken off if you're the best player in a map, and if your team is coordinated, you'll capitalize on that, and you'll finish the team fight and you'll win it. If your team's not, then one of your guys gets picked off, and all of a sudden it's back to dead even again. This is not a deathmatch game. As my understanding of how the console beta went it was pretty much a deathmatch game.
Really?
I hear it was bad. So bad that somebody I knew that was going to play console only, like he was like, hey, yeah, I get it, but he goes, I just don't think I'm going to be into it for a super long time. And he was like, I'm just going to get it on PS4. And he's like, and I'm building a new computer, and I'm not playing. He goes, I want to play this game. I'd rather build a new PC than not play it. Because you don't need a great one to just play the game. So he built a middle of the road gaming PC just because the console beta went so poorly.
Nice.
But those guys that's where you get your. I won't reset the sign. It's still been 1 episode since our last mention of the unmentionable game, but that's where your Call of Duty players come from.
Yeah.
And that style of gameplay, and it's not even a fault on them. They'll get it turned around. But that style and that feel of, I need a positive KDR. That's the only thing that gets measured. That takes time to get yourself out of it. When you're Widowmaker and you're trying to win on a payload or a stopwatch format, and they're capturing the point, you jump on the point. You're going to die, but you jump on the point, and it doesn't matter. It's what you need to be doing. And, a lot of those guys, it's not in their DNA to jump on a point and hold it for the 3 seconds that their life's worth, in close quarters combat. So it'll get better, but it's been pretty brutal, I guess, on the console side.
Yeah, I also heard that the console beta was bugged and glitchy and laggy, and a lot of it wasn't loading up. A couple of my friends played on Xbox, and they were saying they tried to load it up in open beta, and it was just not it was just not happening. So that, I think I agree with you entirely. I definitely have talked to some people I work with that are, old console gamers, not even necessarily competitive, just played casually. They're like, oh man, my KDR is going to be so good. I'm like, that doesn't matter. He's like, no, I'll make it matter. And I'm like, you are going to be very bad at this game, aren't you?
Yeah, and you're not playing on my team.
Well, they aren't going to be, because they're playing, they're playing on
consoles,
so they're not going to be playing on our team anyway. But I think, almost to the detriment of Overwatch in general for consoles, I think it's not going to be as big on consoles for that reason. I just think that a lot of those types of players are going to be they're just going to be so ingrained in the, I need to play this way, I need to get my KDR up, I'm not going to play support, there's no supports, this is a first person shooter, I'm going to play my Widowmaker, I'm going to play my 76. It's like, I feel like a lot of those players, after they keep losing, when they have 4 76s on their team and 2 Widowmakers, they're not going to want to keep playing. I don't know. Maybe we'll see it pan out differently, but it's just
and I do hope so. I hope it gets figured out and the game becomes fun for everybody over there. But I just haven't heard good things from the outset. But at the same time, if that's the attitude of console players and they're all playing together, then maybe that the meta is going to be significantly different there, and the game will be fine. It'll just be approached differently, and the metas will be different, and the strats will be different, which might be very cool in its own right, for all we know. I personally think characters like, Genji, for example, is going to be near impossible to play. I mean, the skill cap is just going to be exponentially higher and harder to hit on the console, whereas characters like Reaper will shine, because I feel like his mechanics and his skill set lends itself well to the control style. You don't necessarily need fine accuracy, and you're better at maybe hitting people while spinning and things like that.
You see, I don't think that, and I think Phelan would make this argument, better than I can, but I don't think that necessarily the accuracy and, mechanical skills are necessarily that much worse for a console player. Like, I would guarantee you that Phelan has much better mechanical skills than I do, him using a controller, me using a keyboard and mouse.
Well, this might knock your socks off, because I did play a little bit with Phelan in the open beta, and I can tell you he has made the switch and is playing keyboard and mouse.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well then. That did he talk about it? Did he say why?
He just, for the added accuracy and the added precision, and
wow.
We didn't talk in depth about it. I just stood on my soapbox and jumped up and down like I won something.
That's crazy.
He told me he's mouse and keyboard. So.
I remember when I first changed. It was big. I still use a controller for fighting games, which people will yell at me for using a controller instead of an arcade stick for fighting games, but I'm not changing.
Yeah, the only thing I use controllers for are Smash Brothers, and
you don't have a choice.
Well,
I guess you could use a Wiimote, like some sort of.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely can't do that.
Smash Bros is the one game where it's more pro to use the controller.
Right. And also, like Madden and NHL, I have to play with a controller in my hand. I can't do it mouse and keyboard. I don't know what it is. It's the only reason I keep a console around. But with that said, my Xbox sure does Red Ring now, and I'm not going to replace it.
No, I haven't had an Xbox in years.
I don't know why I have this TV anymore, but whatever.
Use it as a monitor, bro.
I need a long HDMI cable.
There you go, third monitor, easy fix. But let's get a little bit back on topic.
Somehow that came out of the King of the Watch conversation.
I had a segue, like 5 topics strands ago, but that's long since gone. So we'll just go right into it. The other big tournament we're going to talk about that happened at the end of the beta is the Overkill, Gosu Gamers Overkill League. I think it was called a league. I don't remember how it was.
Yeah, Overkill.gg League.
Yeah.
It was the one that played out with the group stages.
Yes.
The closed beta.
Right. And we talked a bit about basically everything leading up until the finals and third, fourth place game. So we'll go in ascending order from fourth place on, and I'll also talk about the kind of prize pool that they won, because this was, I believe, the biggest prize pool we've seen since Overwatch started doing competitive tournaments.
Yeah, it started, I want to say, with like 3K in the pool, and then it just had a lot of stream time with Matcherino up, you know, and that meant, I think, a ton to the overall prize pool that this tournament ended up getting to, and it was really nice, and a great event all around. We talked about it before. Loved the league play style, that everyone plays everybody. How do these guys match up? We don't need to wonder anymore. We have 2 matches of every matchup possible, you know, or whatever it turned out to be.
Yeah.
All on VODs, every single one on stream. It was a great event, and I think did a phenomenal job of setting up the competitive scene for when the game goes live.
Yeah, and just before we get into the actual results, I just want to take the time to huge shout outs to Gosu Gamers just in general. We're not affiliated with Gosu Gamers or anything, but huge shout outs to them. I think it goes without saying at this point that they have been the biggest drive for competitive Overwatch, you know, since we got beta, and even before that. I think they have been the biggest source of tournament coverage. Obviously, they've run their weeklies, and then the Overkill League basically through the entirety of the beta, closed and open. They've had the coverage of all the events. They've had the Overwatch event ticker on their website where you can go back and check the result of basically any game of Overwatch that was recorded or documented in any sort of way is on Gosu Gamers.
Links
website.
To every VOD.
Links to all the VODs. Other Overwatch content, whether it be written video, special features, what have you. It's all been on Gosu Gamers. They've really, for lack of a better term, in the Overwatch and non-MTG community, they've been the Star City Games of Overwatch. And for those of you who don't know, Star City Games is basically the go-to place for everything Magic the Gathering. That's not the official Magic the Gathering page. They've really, stepped up, and I think that I can safely say that the Overwatch, especially the competitive community, would not be at the level it is today if it weren't for Gosu Gamers. So huge shout out to them and everything that they've done throughout the beta.
And it's pretty impossible not to also just credit them with improving the quality of the actual game.
Absolutely.
When you look at the balance changes that were made based solely off of things you could watch on their Twitch channel, it was kind of absurd. The Zenyatta nerf to the orbs, the Genji and the Lucio life HP switches that they made, and they reverted those but lowered their damage instead, and all those came from the tournaments, the rules, the play that happened under the Gosu Gamers banner, and to a lesser extent the other events as well. Really, one of the only ones that even comes to mind was King of the Watch, that was recurring and repetitive. So big shout out to Creation as well for what they've done to help shape the game and the competitive scene. And they've said from the beginning, this is their esports title. They want this to be a big esports game, and that means balancing for the competitive scene, and that means that the access that the Twitch viewers and everybody had to watching these events was invaluable. So it just cannot say enough good things about anybody that was willing to hold an event or put their name out there or put any amount of work into helping with this game when the money's not there in the open beta like it is with other esports titles. These guys were working for peanuts or for free, and they did a phenomenal job, and we owe them all a debt of gratitude. So thank them when you queue into them and when the game comes out.
Absolutely. And you mentioned how there's really not any money in the beta and in Overwatch to begin with, but that leads to one of our partners, and the reason why we started why we reached out to them, Matcherino. Another huge shout out to them. Really allowed they facilitated the Gosu Gamers, the Creation Esports, the other tournament organizers to not have to put a huge chunk of, basically investment capital on the line for a game that it was really, at the beginning, it was kind of, a lot of people were like, is this really going to work out? Or are we, is Overwatch really going to be played? Is it just going to be like is it going to be kind of like TF2? It's going to be a flop and competitive, Huge shout outs to Ghost of Gamers. Obviously, Matcherino, I think, was a driving force as well, for competitive Overwatch and really incentivizing teams to start playing.
Absolutely.
To play consistently. It's very possible that a lot of these tournaments could have just been free and had no funding, and we don't see the sort of the teams come together like they have now, where we've got a handful of sponsored teams. We've got Liquid, we've got Cloud9, we've got Envious, we've got a number of big esports. We've got AVL, Creation finally coming together. We've got a number of sponsored teams. We got a number of sponsored teams that are in that are they're making a play for it because the money is there and the players are incentivized to play. So huge shout out to Matcherino. Again, huge shout out to Ghost of Gamers and everyone else that has helped the Overwatch community. And we're getting sidetracked more and more, but I think it's really important to give those shout outs because it really needed to be said, I think. But we'll go back to the tournament that we were talking about. At least I think we were. I don't know. It's been like
the Overkill GG finals. We were starting to look. You say you were going to go reverse order.
Yes. Yes. So we at fourth place we saw Luminosity, Seagull's team. Mm-hmm. They won. For fourth place they got $600. 593 technically, but I'm rounding up. $600. Third place we saw Envious with just about $900 for third place. Not a bad take home. And then we saw the finals, Reunited versus Cloud9. I think, again, with the exception of the now disbanded and mythical IDDQD of yore, the undefeated 35-0 or whatever team versus Cloud9. I think this was probably the best Overwatch we are going to see. I think it was definitely the best Overwatch we saw, at least the best matchup we saw in the beta. Cloud9 versus Reunited, and we saw Cloud9 take that home with a whopping $2,968 for first place, with Reunited taking $1,484 for second. That the game's not out yet. That's a nice chunk of change for these teams that really have only been playing for a couple of months in a game.
Yeah, and these are sponsored guys who have bonuses. I don't even know how the contracts work, but
right.
These guys are also getting paid in other ways for the game, whether it be by streams or what have you. Especially Luminosity down there with Seagull, at least. I know he's doing really well. He's like the stream of Overwatch that kind of got finalized, I think, in the open beta as his numbers. And really the numbers, the viewers for the end of this tournament, everybody, it's so much better to watch a game that you've been able to play. Mm-hmm. I'm talking like 12,000 viewers and things like that.
18 is what it peaked at.
I was just going to say, I didn't even hear the peak. I just remember
18K viewers for the finals. And, I'd like to say this puts to rest the people who are like, people aren't going to watch Overwatch. This has no competitive legs. People aren't going to like this. It's still going to be a competitive game. Frame rate. I hear that all the time. People are like, do you really think people are going to watch Overwatch? It gets like no viewers. Yeah, shut up, idiots. 18K viewers for the finals during open beta. And again, game's not out yet. So... Right. I really, people are like, League of Legends World Championship gets 100,000 viewers. Yeah, the game's been out for 10 years and has a dedicated, cult-like fan base. Overwatch isn't out yet, idiots. Give it some time, please.
Yeah, it'll only get more and more popular, but those 18,000 that got to watch a hell of a match for the finals there. The Cloud9 versus Reunited. Now, this was, if you're keeping tabs, this is an NA team versus an EU team. Mm-hmm. Cloud9 was the number one seed going in, so they got I guess, home server advantage. That's probably the way to word it here.
Yeah.
So it was a best of 9. We've never seen a series go that long. So a team had to win 5 in order to take it home. And these guys started the first 6 games all holding their home server. And that was really interesting to me. They made it through every single competitively played map. Normally competitively played map, and then got into the Temple of Anubis, is where it finally
broke.
Yeah, where they broke the home server advantage and stole serve from Reunited, and that really just ended it on the spot because that was game 8. So each team already had, or Cloud9 already had 4. But yeah, it was a really incredible back and forth, and Reunited did a phenomenal job. They are on record as hating, I think, everything, but they are specifically on record for hating not having hero limits and cross-server play. I'm right with them on the cross-server play. I've been stuck in Brazil servers when I'm trying to scrim. I've been, it's the worst. If you take my ping and you put it over 100, I can't hit a shot anymore. I die to things that I can't see because I'm not around the corner yet. It's brutal. And the custom game lobby is doing a better job. They're getting 60 tick rate servers and things like that, but all those bells and whistles weren't on for the whole beta. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fix that problem because it's terrible. But I thought the fact that they were able to hold home server on every single game outside of that last one there was just a testament to how much better they've gotten through the end of closed beta and into open beta. They did a good job leveling up. I don't know that, with 2 weeks left in the closed beta, they would have been able to fight Cloud9 this closely, but they sure did this time.
Yeah.
So it was a very impressive match, and if just the best players in the world, there's really no other way to word it. Outside of 1 or 2 individuals that you might say are better, they were all in play here. Even Tavik, he was playing on Envious still because these rosters were set up forever ago before they'd replaced him or what have you. I don't even know what the official word is on that roster spot. But,
who knows?
Yeah, all I know is Pluppy still plays in everything while simultaneously playing in nothing since he's Tavik now.
Yeah.
So Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah. Now this is a little bit off topic, but we've done this a million times. Yeah, the whole show's been off topic while also being on topic. I know the name Ryu Salted.
That's mine.
That's yours. I gotta fault you because a better name is Ryu Crided.
Ryu Crided? Is it though?
Reunited, Ryu Crided. Come on. See,
the only thing is how do you also simultaneously use a Twitch emote while typing it?
Okay, if it's Ryu PJ Salted.
I've never typed it in Twitch chat any other way.
Okay, well then I'll give you that.
All right.
How about Ryu Baby Rage did?
Ryu Bible Thumped?
Ryu Bible Thumped, Ryu Baby Rage, whatever. Ryu Crided sounds better. Ryu PG Salted looks better, maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
Moving on. The third place match, again, it was EU versus NA. This was, they played on their home servers exclusively. It was all the NAs versus all the EUs in the group stages. And then the top 2 advanced. So it was NVS, which is the old IDDQD, with Tavik on there as a fill-in. Versus Luminosity. And this was a really interesting, if not because of the gameplay, but just because of the result. It was a little unexpected. I mean, we know Envious is going to be really strong, even with the roster changes, everything. It's still 5 of that group that was vaunted and never beaten, in this lineup. So you have to expect them to put up a good performance. But Luminosity had come out of the group stages really, really strong. They'd made roster changes that seemed to make immediate improvements. I don't know that they were like maybe the 4th best NA team to me before these roster changes.
They were like the Curse Forever 2nd place or like Forever 3rd place.
Yeah, like they just couldn't quite crack the top of the list.
Yeah,
and they really seem to do it. I'm blanking on some of their roster changes because the problem with some of the roster changes is that some of them are just in name. Because these guys had second accounts that got into the beta.
Yeah,
so like Harry Hook used to be Nabridgepup. No, exactly.
They changed like a million things.
Came into the team, and um, they signed an old WoW arena player. I'm blanking on his name as well. But anyways, they seem to be making big strides and big improvements as a team, and we really saw that in the group match. But they just got 4-0 wiped by Envious in this. So it'll be really interesting to see how they react, how they come out of it, what of these roster changes will stick, if anything will change. But they definitely seem to be on the right track. They finished this event the number 2 team in NA, and since everybody was in it, I'm going to go ahead and just say they are the second best team in NA.
Yeah, I definitely think Luminosity has been one of the better teams, obviously, at the top of these tournaments. They've been at the top of all these weekly tournaments. They have that second place curse. They just have not been able to close. It seems like, they've got Seagull as kind of their star player, but Seagull's very good, but he's not the same. He's not that like S tier player. I don't think too many people would argue that he's on the same level as a Tavik, a Mendo, or a Lynx, where they're just doing insane things. I just think Seagull has been super good, super consistent, but not that like next like wow level of play. At least, if the results speak at all to that's kind of how we've seen Seagull play out.
Yeah, I would tend to disagree a little bit. I think he's there. On a play skill level, I do think he's there. His best heroes, though, might not be the best heroros.
Right. That could be it, too.
Also, just to me with Overwatch, what I've learned playing as a team, and I've been DPS, which I thought when I decided to move into it, I thought it was going to be the most impactful spot. I mean, if people aren't dying, you're not winning, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I've started to learn, and I figured it out before I made the switch over to support, but I think the linchpin of a team in Overwatch is your support ultimates. The timing of those and the impact you get off of your resurrects, your break it downs, all of them, really. There's your teleporters, and I can't remember the name of Zenyatta's, Harmony.
Something like that.
Yeah, just the big invulnerable, or the big heal.
Transcendence,
there you go. Transcendence and these abilities, they counter ultimates that are otherwise game breaking. We've all seen Death Blossoms end games, but the better play is to break it down as soon as you hear the first die, and then nobody dies.
Right.
That's you're able to kill the Reaper before your DPS gets wiped out. That's the most important single thing that can happen in a game. It's not the big flashy ultimates. Those are usually set up by the speed burst from the supports, or So I feel like support is kind of the linchpin of the team. So I think Luminosity that's where they've been making their roster changes.
Gotcha.
So I'm wondering if maybe they just need to either gel better as a team to be able to compete in this top 4 of Overwatch, or maybe they need to get other supports. But they did seem to get better with this group of supports.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe I just am not giving Seagull enough credit. But I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. We don't have to agree all the time. You can be wrong about stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, but I'm on like the team EU though. I don't know. I love myself some Pluppy and some. I'm still going to call him Pluppy forever.
Twitch chat cancel.
I really am. It has nothing to do with NAEU. It's literally.
Right. It's just that's where the best emotes are coming from their streamers. So
although I am sub to both Mendo and Tavik, and I love their emotes. But there are some other good Overwatch emotes. I just don't watch those streams as much, so I don't.
Yeah, I love Impact's play of the game. Seagull's got some great like trap triggered emotes and things like that.
Yeah, Seagull does have some good ones too, but
I'm back to 0 subs.
I should probably go down. I probably should go down to 0 subs, but
suck fubs, boys.
Suck fubs, boys. But let's move on real quickly. We've got a couple of exciting tournaments, in addition to the tournaments that we're assuming are going to come back with the. King of the Watch and assumedly Gosu weeklies.
Weeklies should definitely be back.
I hope so. But we've also got this one was, we'll start with this one. It's called Winter Watch. It is an ANZ, which is Australia-New Zealand tournament. Ooh. 3 rounds to kick off on the 4th of June at 10 a.m. AEST, which I'm guessing is Australian something.
Australian Eastern time?
Maybe East Australia. Yeah, I have no idea. After 3 rounds overall, winners will be decided. Top 3 teams will take a share of $600 prize pool. Not a huge tournament, but it's nice to see these different regions, be represented. I would be pretty upset if I lived in Australia and New Zealand and didn't have Overwatch to play. So I'm glad that there's an Australia-New Zealand tournament.
It's going to be sorry to interrupt you. It's going to be kind of especially important, I think, to keep track of these regional events because of how we've seen Blizzard structure world championships for their other games.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, they do invites by regions. Hearthstone's work that way. So many from NA, so many from EU, so many from Asia. All down the line. So keep an eye on these. You might not know the teams in them, but you might learn about them later. So you might want to, you know what I mean? They're all going to be worth watching. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note that I believe this tournament, it's not sponsored or directly through Blizzard ANZ, but I believe that Blizzard ANZ was either working with the tournament or doing something with it. I saw it on Blizzard ANZ's Twitter. So, if it's even being recognized by Blizzard proper, that's...
If they're tweeting about it, it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe they're laying the framework for World Championships and BlizzCon. Who knows? I don't know. But the one tournament that I saw that is pretty interesting, it's called the Agents Rising Kickoff to Overwatch Esports in NA. Sponsored by Dolby, like the sound equipment company. So that's kind of interesting. It's going to be May 28th and 29th at 11 a.m. I believe Pacific. It didn't say on the website, but it's a LAN tournament in California. So I'm assuming it's 11 a.m. Pacific on both days. Prize pool, $10,000. With first place, with first place getting $5,000, second $3,500, third place getting $1,500. So already, big sponsored prize pool right off the bat. The weekend that Overwatch is released in a LAN tournament, which is kind of cool. Sadly, it's all the way out in California, so we can't register. But I believe there was like a team registration fee, which also could contribute to the prize pool. I believe it was like $200 or something for a team registration. So I'm interested to see how many teams are going to play and how many teams are going to register after they realize that Cloud9 is probably going to register. Like if you're in the Bay or the California area or whatever, you're like, I'm going to play in this tournament, and then you look at the list of registrants and it's like Cloud9, you're like, I'm just going to save my money.
Yeah, with a $10,000 prize pool, it would almost be stupid for them not to buy plane tickets for it, right? Like Cloud9's probably just going to pay for the plane tickets if they want to do it.
Oh, I would imagine plenty of them are probably in that California area anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say though. But it might the quality of the competition might depend on who. I don't know where any of those guys are from geographically. So, you could have people in the Carolinas on the East Coast and not able to make it or what have you. But nonetheless, I think it's awesome that it's going to be a LAN event, and B, it's got a big sponsor from outside the game that somebody we've never seen do it before.
Right.
I think that bodes well for the game in general, that a company like Dolby is going to shell out this kind of money. I don't care why they're doing it, capitalizing on the opening hype or what have you, but either way, these types of events are big, and I want to see Overwatch have those montages and those clips like they have for the League of Legends LCS championships, where you see the two teams on either end of the stage with I love that, and I want to see Overwatch in the big arena format. So I'm really excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, and I believe Esports Arena is generally pretty good at that. They're a pretty well-known LAN tournament center in that area. And the stream is going to be located at twitch.tv/esportsarena. It's going to feature casters Ask Joshy, who we know pretty well, Fishdicks, who we also know pretty well, Twitch employee, and then T Squared and Jamerson. I've never heard of either of those, but it's nice to see. I'm guessing probably Esports Arena people. I'm guessing. because I've literally never heard of either of them, and they're going to be casting, or at least on the caster desk or something, for the biggest Overwatch tournament we've seen yet with Ask Josh and Fishstick. So, cool. It's always nice to see new casters. I would have liked to see Hexagrams and ZP, but that's that.
Well, we do know generally where they're from geographically.
Yeah,
it's like it's a Mid-East or of the of the U.S. Not
right. It's not out East, there, but for sure.
It's nowhere near the West Coast, so that would explain that a little bit.
Yeah, and the last thing to note about this tournament is, and this might actually be the most interesting part of this tournament. It's going to be using the Blizzard competitive mode.
So, what's even more interesting is we don't necessarily know what the Blizzard competitive mode will be when the game releases.
We don't necessarily know that. I think we can say pretty safely that it's going to be similar to what it is now.
Similar, but at the same time, I don't even know that that's true. I think the general reception to going to King of the Hill to decide 98% of balanced, ranked matches is. I think that was a pretty big no-no from the community. I don't think they liked it, but
I don't disagree. I also think that for an event this big and this, seemingly planned out with such a huge prize pool, that they might have reached out to Blizzard, been like, "Hey, you guys going to be changing this? Could you just let us know or something? Maybe we're putting up $10,000." Maybe I know the Overwatch community team has been super in on the community, the tournament scene, Reddit, everything. They've been super in on it. So maybe they've been in communication. I don't know.
We'll see. It brings up an interesting topic, which we won't get too much into, but it's kind of the two areas I think the community and Blizzard have disagreed pretty handily, and that's the competitive format and the season length. So I know I'm very curious to see where they end up coming down on those two. It was one of those areas where they're like, "Oh, we got your feedback. We wholeheartedly disagree with you, but we got your feedback."
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think if we weren't already going so far over
we talk time, about it more,
we talk about it more. But it always happens. Everything we do, I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be a super short show. We don't have anything to talk about," and then we're cutting the show off early because we're cutting it off late because we had too much stuff to talk about. But there was so much that we could still talk about. But I think we're gonna cut it here. We've been going for quite some time now. I don't know.
15.
Yeah, hour 15 is, I think, where we're going to put the hard stop. We talked about the big points we want to talk about, and I didn't go off about how stupid people in the Overwatch Facebook group are for complaining about Bastion incessantly.
Oh, my goodness.
Guys, but we're not going to do it. We're not going to talk about it at all.
All I'm going to say is just press H to switch heroes. That's it. That's all you're getting from me.
That's all you're getting. You're going to get one thing from me. Every single time that someone complains about Bastion and someone immediately posts the DJ Khaled, congratulations, you played yourself with Genji's face, it's just perfect every single time.
I don't even know that. You're going to have to send it to me.
I'll send it to you afterwards. But let's start to wrap it up. Deathblow, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me on, let's see, probably Twitter, twitter.com/D3ATHBL0W, and on Twitch. I'm sure I will be streaming some as the game comes out. I've mentioned I'm not going to be trying to commit to a schedule or go crazy with anything like that, but it will be occasionally. I'll be up, twitch.tv/D3ATH_BL0W.
Yes, and you can always find me on Twitter at THE_BLEVINS at the Blevins. You can also find me at twitch.tv/theblevins. That's also where we host the live show every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7-ish, depending on if I need to go get Taco Bell beforehand. I didn't even talk about how I didn't get an Overwatch cup. I got a stupid pleb cup because they ran out of Overwatch ones. Sad boys. You can always contact us on the show on Twitter at Highnoon Podcast on Twitter. You can also email us highnoonpodcast@gmail.com. You can also check out all those links and stuff down there: iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Pretty much all of those / Highnoon Podcast or something like that. I don't know. Don't forget to check out the giveaway on Twitter as well. We're giving away some stuff. Please, guys, give us some feedback. Let us know what you love and hate about the show so we can make season 2 even better for you.
Otherwise, we'll make it worse.
Otherwise, we will make it so much worse. I think that's close to everything. Oh, huge thanks again to Creation Esports Matcherino, our season 1 and presumably 2. We have nothing finalized for anything.
No.
Definitely season 1 partners. Also, huge thanks. I have forgotten to say it for so many weeks, but huge thanks to Adam Hoek for composing and making our outro music, which you're going to hear in just about a minute. Because I do too many fake outros. The McCree song, he made the McCree song. It's so awesome.
Yeah, check his YouTube channel. I believe it's just Adam Hoek, Hoek. I believe it's actually pronounced Hoek.
Hook.
Hook, yes, that's right. But we say Hoek because that's how it's spelled, and it makes it a little easier if you want to find him. All sorts of video game songs. Other Overwatch heroes have been there. Obviously, we chose McCree for our purposes, but all of them are great.
Yeah, and I feel like there's more things I want to say, but we're going to cut it off. The only thing I need you to know before we leave, do you know what that is, Deathbow?
It's Highnoon.
Got his boots and he put on his hat. He threw the coin away that same day. It's in his past and he's not looking back. He says, finding mine now guides my way. He's not good, but he sure ain't bad. He'll make amends for the sins that he has. He says, I'll change the world.